Swami Vivekananda's educational philosophy, a detailed, practical guide for today. Swami Vivekananda, 1863–1902, saw education not as the mere transmission of facts but as the complete development of the human being, body, mind, heart, and spirit. His ideas are rooted in the Indian spiritual humanist tradition but were strikingly modern in focus. He insisted on practical utility, universal access, character building, and the awakening of inner strength. Below I present a comprehensive, structured look at his vision, its core tenets, practical classroom and policy applications, critiques, and why it still matters for contemporary education. 1. Fundamental ideas and guiding principles. 1. Education as manifestation of inner perfection. Vivekananda held that every human being contains an innate divine potential. Education should help manifest that latent perfection. Learning, therefore, is not filling a vessel but drawing out what already exists within the student. 2. Character building above mere information. For Vivekananda, character was the essence of true education. He argued that intellectual knowledge without moral strength and self-discipline is incomplete. Education must form willpower, courage, truthfulness, self-control and compassion. 3. Holistic development, body, mind, heart, spirit. He emphasized balanced growth, physical health and dexterity, intellectual rigor, emotional maturity, aesthetic sense, and spiritual awareness. Physical culture, yoga, sports, was as important as intellectual training. 4. Practicality and usefulness. Education must be useful to the individual and society. It should prepare learners to earn a livelihood, solve real problems, and contribute to the community. 5. Freedom and self-reliance. Vivekananda championed freedom of thought and self-confidence. Education should cultivate independence of mind, initiative, and the ability to face life's difficulties. 6. Universal, inclusive education. He argued that education must reach all sections of society irrespective of caste, class, or gender. Mass education and female education were priorities. 7. Teacher as ideal, a role model and inspirer. Teachers should not merely lecture, they must live the ideals they teach and inspire students through example and moral guidance. 8. Spirituality without sectarianism. He saw spirituality as fostering universal values, love, compassion, service, rather than sectarian dogma. Spiritual education nurtures inner strength and ethical living. 2. Core tenets unpacked and applied. Below are the central tenets with a brief note on how they translate into practice. 1. Inner-centered learning, emphasize self-knowledge, reflective practices, journals, guided reflection, and student-led inquiry. 2. Character formation, build curricula that include ethics, community service, conflict resolution training and habits of self-discipline. 3. Balance of theory and practice, combine conceptual teaching with labs, workshops, apprenticeships and hands-on projects. 4. Physical education and well-being, schedule daily physical activity, breathing and concentration exercises, simple pranayama, stretching, to enhance attention and resilience. 5. Education for all, implement affirmative outreach, scholarships, and community. Schools, ensure girls' education and adult literacy programs. 6. Teacher training in values, professional development that trains teachers in mentorship, classroom management, and ethical leadership. 7. Cultivation of self-confidence and courage, use activities that require public speaking, debates, collaborative problem-solving and entrepreneurship projects. 8. Integration of aesthetics and culture, arts, literature, and music as central, not optional to develop sensitivity and emotional intelligence. 3. Pedagogy and classroom strategies inspired by Vivekananda. A. Student-centered, active pedagogy. Socratic questioning, project-based learning, and capstone community projects that require applying knowledge to real problems. Encourage students to set personal learning goals and reflect weekly in learning journals. B. Moral and character curriculum. Short weekly sessions on virtues, honesty, perseverance, empathy, using stories, role play, and reflection. Character rubrics rather than only test scores, punctuality, cooperation, initiative, honesty. C. Seva, service, learning. Integrate community service into coursework, e.g., science students run local water testing projects, education students teach adult literacy classes. Link service to assessment project reports and reflection. D. Physical culture and concentration training. Daily 10-20 minute concentration practices, breathing, quiet attention exercises, to improve focus. Regular sport/physical training as part of the timetable. E. Teacher as mentor. Advisors for small student groups meet weekly to discuss progress, challenges, career goals, and personal growth. Teachers model compassion, discipline, and lifelong learning. F. Vocational and skills training. Early exposure to trades and entrepreneurship through partnerships with local industry and maker spaces. Internships, apprenticeships, and micro-enterprise projects embedded in secondary education. 4. Assessment aligned with Vivekananda's ideals. Move from exclusive reliance on high-stakes exams to multidimensional assessment. Portfolios that collect projects, community work, artistic creations, and reflective essays. Performance assessments, presentations, science demonstrations, civic action projects. Character and social skills, teacher and peer assessments on teamwork, leadership, reliability. Self-assessment and goal setting. Students evaluate their growth relative to personal goals. Continuous formative assessment to guide improvement rather than only summative ranking. 5 Curriculum design and subjects. A Vivekananda-inspired model. Foundational elements: literacy, numeracy, scientific method, critical thinking. Character and values: structured ethical education, community service projects, debates on moral dilemmas. Practical skills: vocational skills, entrepreneurship, digital literacy, and life skills. Financial literacy, health, aesthetic and cultural education, music, visual arts, dance, literary study to cultivate taste and sensitivity. Physical and mental health, mandatory PE, mindfulness/concentration sessions, health. Education. Philosophy and comparative religion, non-doctrinal teach ideas, ethics, and universal values across traditions to build pluralistic respect. Environmental education, care for nature as an extension of service and responsibility. 6 Policy recommendations for governments and institutions. 1 Universal access and equity. Invest in rural and girls' education, remove barriers to attendance, meals, transport, scholarships. 2 Teacher training reform. Prepare teachers to be mentors in character education and active pedagogies. 3 Curriculum reform. Integrate life skills, service learning, and mental health into national curricula. 4 Assessment reform. Replace single high-stakes exams with continuous, portfolio-based assessments. 5 Link education to livelihood. Create school-industry partnerships for vocational pathways and apprenticeships. 6 Promote physical and mental well-being. Mandate daily physical activity and provide counseling services. 7 Support community-based schools. Encourage local languages and cultural content while maintaining high standards. 7 Technology and Vivekananda's vision harmony, not replacement. Vivekananda's emphasis on human values suggests technology should augment human-centered education, not replace it. Use adaptive learning platforms to personalize foundational skill acquisition, freeing teacher time for mentorship, discussion, and values education. Employ virtual labs and maker tools for practical skills, but ensure hands-on, social learning remains central. Leverage digital platforms for community outreach, adult education, and scaling. Teacher training with safeguards to preserve face-to-face mentoring and empathy. 8 Sample micro-programs and classroom activities. Example: week-long Character in Action module, grades 9-10. Day 1. Introduce a virtue, e.g., courage, with the story and discussion. Day 2. Role-play scenarios where students practice courageous choices. Day 3. Community visit. Students interview local role models and write reflections. Day 4. group project, design a micro-action, public awareness, cleanliness drive, and implement. Day 5, presentation and reflective journal and peer feedback. Concentration practice, daily, 10 minutes. 2 minutes of simple breathing, 5 minutes of focused attention on a single object, 3 minutes silent reflection. Record immediate benefits, improved attention, calmer class, better retention. Service learning capstone, term long. Students identify a local problem, research, propose solution, implement pilot, and present impact with data and reflection. 9. Addressing common critiques and practical limits. Critique, too spiritual or vague for secular systems. Response, Vivekananda's spirituality is ethical and humanistic, values education can be non-sectarian and focused on universal qualities, honesty, service, empathy. Critique, hard to measure character. Response, while character is complex, practical rubrics, reflective portfolios, longitudinal observation, and community feedback can provide robust, actionable indicators. Critique, resource constraints. Response, many aspects, seva, reflection, mentorship, require time and will, not large budgets. Phased implementation and community partnerships can scale practices even in resource-limited contexts. 10. Why Vivekananda's philosophy matters in the 21st century. Mental health and resilience. His emphasis on inner strength aligns with modern needs for psychological resilience and emotional regulation. 21st century skills, self-confidence, initiative, critical thinking and collaboration that he promoted are central to modern employability. Ethical challenges of technology. His call for moral formation is crucial as AI, biotech, and digital platforms pose new ethical dilemmas. Sustainability and service. Seva-based learning connects education to social and environmental responsibility. Holistic flourishing. With rising specialization and fragmentation, his integrated view helps produce rounded citizens, not just workers. 11. A practical 5-point checklist for educators, to start tomorrow. 1. Add a 10-minute daily concentration/wellness practice to your class routine. 2. Begin a weekly reflection and goals entry. Students write 1 page about learning, behavior, and a personal goal. 3. Design 1 small service project per term that ties to the syllabus and community needs. 4. Replace 1 test per term with a project assessment or portfolio submission. 5. Hold monthly teacher-student mentorship meetings for progress and guidance. Conclusion. A living legacy. Swami Vivekananda's educational philosophy combines spiritual depth with striking practicality. It calls for education that awakens inner potential, builds robust character, cultivates self-reliance, serves society, and harmonizes intellectual, physical, and moral growth. Far from being a historical curiosity, this vision provides powerful guidance for modern educators and policymakers seeking humane, resilient, and relevant schooling for the 21st century. Implemented thoughtfully, his principles can help create learning environments that not only transmit knowledge but also foster dignity, purpose, and service. The true aims of education. If you'd like, I can convert this into a detailed one-term syllabus for a school implementing these ideas. A sample teacher training workshop, 2 days, or a printable flyer for a school outlining the Vivekananda-inspired daily routine. Which would you prefer?